Right, your team is battling to self-organise. How do you help them? Well, what you have to do is understand self-organisation itself. Many people push back on some of the ideas around self-organisation because they don't understand what we're really trying to do. Self-organisation is about the team determining how to solve the problems. They get to decide what the solution looks like. They don't get to decide what the problem is they're solving. They're not truly self-governing. So in the Scrum world, it used to be self-organising. Now you'll hear us talking about self-managing, but really we're talking about the same thing still. A team that determines how to solve the problem that the organisation, via a product owner if you're doing Scrum, places in front of them. And that's an interesting one. Some people don't like it because it's scary. They're used to being told how to do their job. Some people don't like it because they think that they should own the problem as well and decide what to work on. And you need to approach these in different ways. We'll take the second first because that's how my brain works. So for those who think that they should be the ones determining what the problem is, that's okay. It's called self-governing. It's a perfectly reasonable approach. Okay? Are you in an organisation that is willing to delegate that authority to you, give you the power to decide what the problem is? If so, great. Okay? You need to work with your business people, be they a product owner, a sponsor, a stakeholder, whatever guys they come along in, and work out how to make sure that you're working towards organisational goals. Okay? And within that framework, you can move forward and determine what the problem is and how to move forward. That's okay. My experience says that's not going to happen. And what we need to then do is help the team understand that it's not going to happen. Right? They can want to take complete control of the problem. That's great. That's an enviable state as a Scrum Master or an Agile coach to have a team that passionate about solving the problem. But they're not going to be given the authority to make those decisions. What we need to do is help them understand that, understand the boundaries of what they can and they can't do. Very often what that requires is an honest sit down and no more. Just sitting down with the team and saying, okay, what is it you want to do? With the stakeholders in the room, the people who have that authority in the organisation, what are you willing to give? And negotiating a way forward, trying to work out what good looks like for this particular team in this particular organisation. It's not easy, it's not a particularly fun conversation to have, but it's incredibly important that that team understand the boundaries within which they exist. In fact, it's so important that it's one of the things that I always recommend when you're first forming a team is how do they sit within this organisation? What are the boundaries placed upon them? So you need to get clear. And then the team, I'll be honest, have to determine whether or not they like that answer. And if they don't, well, they can take it up internally, but the chances are they're going nowhere. They have to work out whether they want to be part of that team going forwards. Okay? But at least there's clarity. At least everybody understands we can play in this area, we can't play out there. Okay? And that gives the team the ability to move forwards. Okay? My experience is once it's clear, most people are okay. They'll grumble, nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with when not being completely happy when you don't get your way. But actually over time they're going to understand, okay, we need to work with these people. They set some constraints on our work. They determine what we're going to do and we determine how we're going to do it. So teams that are looking to take more than the self-managing concept on, okay, it's often a good chat with them. Involving the people who need to be part of that conversation to work out where those boundaries are. What good looks like in the context. The other people that I come across, the other teams, are those who just don't really understand it. They're not used to the concept. They want to be told how to solve a problem. Maybe they come from organisations that are actually quite top-down controlling and they're used to just being told, now do this task, now do this task, now do this task. This is a harder place to be. It is unfortunately a more common place to be as well. And what we need to do is start helping them understand that they can make decisions. This is about safety. Often the people in these teams have learned that making those decisions is dangerous for their career. So they don't. They abdicate it to a different authority, whether or not that person is better placed. Because what they've learned is that to do anything else is going to lead to a dressing down by their manager, their stakeholders, whoever, because they've stepped outside of their role. They aren't playing based on the rule book that the organisation understands. And those are very often the teams we find in the early days of Agile. They've been working in this traditional fashion where project managers and other people have been telling them what to do and when to do it, and following these traditional phased approaches, and they've just done. And they've learned that success is, for their career, staying quiet. Just do as you're told, move forwards. So with those teams, I'll be honest, we need to give them a bit of a cuddle. We need to nurture them. We need to bring them up, rebuild their self-belief sometimes, but their understanding and their knowledge that they're in a safe environment. So we need to work on the psychological safety of that team to start with. How can they, within the team, have good, honest conversations about what the problem is, absolutely, and how to solve it without going to third parties. And early days, they're going to want to, and they're going to do it, whether or not, well, it doesn't matter what you tell them, they're going to do it. Okay? Acknowledge it. Don't ignore it. That's not a behaviour that's good for that team in the long run. So it's not ignoring. Acknowledge. Yeah, you did that. Okay, how did it help? Right? Have that conversation there and then, in the moment, what are known as coachable moments. That's the point. Okay, you went and talked to that architecture group over there. Okay, what did you learn? Okay. Did you know that before you went? Did you not? Did you learn something new? Great. Well, how do we get that knowledge in the team? Build their confidence in themselves that they can make decisions. What you'll also need to do is go and talk to those external groups. Right? This isn't saying they're doing a bad job. In fact, they're very often very good and very experienced people who want to do a great job. But help them understand how to support this new team. Okay? It's not about being the font of all knowledge. It's about providing support to the team so that they grow in capacity. Very often what we do is these external experts is we recast them as mentors. I don't want you to have the answer. I know you've got the answer. You're brilliant at your job. That's great. What I want you to do, though, is help them understand your answer so they don't need to come back again and again and again. Right? And slowly, over time, working on the knowledge and the competency of the team and the safety within it. So not only do they know that they can ask difficult questions, but they also know that they know good answers. They will slowly start to embrace self-organisation, self-management. Okay? And with that, you have a very, very solid team. You now have a team that can be given a problem. An organisation will say, I need you to solve this. And within themselves, they have the tools to have good, robust conversations. They can disagree. And in that conflict, they can come up with great answers. But they also have the confidence and the surety in themselves that they have good knowledge in their area, and vitally important, they have the ability to learn more. And with that, okay, we have a truly self-managing, self-organising team, a group of people who can come together and solve complex problems by pulling together their existing knowledge, their existing skill set, and drawing in new knowledge, new skills as needed to solve the problem in front of them. And really, that's what we're trying to do with any team. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.